Welcome to the channel. This is Jay Mancini, where we keep the wheels rolling and the cash flowing. All right, so today's video was actually inspired by a gentleman, Magnum Trucking, giving him a shout out. He has a great question. He inspired this video. So to you, my friend, this video is not only for you to answer your question, but hopefully also answer a lot of other individuals that may have the same question. And of course, also help them along their journey when they're buying their new dump truck or have the new dump truck and get to this point where you're at now. So let me just say, by the way, also that I congratulate you by already having a dump truck, already being in the business. Man, I know what it's like. You're one of them guys, man, that I'm sure gets things done. Hey, trying to move on, trying to get better. So I appreciate these questions. All right, guys, so this is what he said. He said, hey, Jay, I listened to your channel and I'm following your advice. It's extremely valuable. I've reached out to contractors for jobs and several of them want me to pay up front for the material and pay me 30 days later. I understand paying later for transportation services, but it's too much risk and I don't have the cash flow to front the material. Is this an industry standard? Thank you. Brother, I appreciate this question. This is a great question. So guys, we're gonna dissect this, so let's dive in. All right, we're gonna call this negotiating with contractors, buying and selling materials. So to everyone out there that may have the same exact question or eventually have this question, especially when you get into the dump truck business, I'm gonna give you different scenarios. Some might work, some might not. All right, guys, so number one, first option is ask the customer or the contractor, are they open to paying with a credit card? You'll be surprised at how a lot of these contractors have credit cards. A lot of these companies have credit cards, and really all of them probably have one. But majority of them are gonna avoid paying with a credit card, right? They're usually gonna wanna pay with a check. That's the traditional way. Or in this situation, like my friend here says, they're gonna wanna pay them 30 days or pay you 30 days later. That's also kind of a tradition or a standard, okay? So yes, this is kind of normal in the trucking industry. So I'm gonna explain to you the following. All right, guys, so before we get to asking them if they can pay for a credit card, I wanna explain to you how this all works. Now, what happens 99% of the time is the contractor's asking you if they can pay you in 30 days for the following reason, okay? Now what happens is, let's just say they're doing a job for the city, which is considered public work, okay? Or let's just say they're doing private. Private means, I don't know, let's say they're doing a shopping center. All right, so public, say for the city. If it's private work, let's just say they're doing a shopping center. Private means they could be doing a bunch of things. Okay, so either or, what happens is whoever they're doing the job for, if it's the city, and let's just say it's public, right? And it's the city, or it could be the county, right? These guys right here are not gonna pay the contractor till 30 to 90 days, meaning whenever the contractor does the job, let's say they do it this month, they're not gonna get paid till 30 days, 60 or 90 days from now. So that's the reason why whenever they buy material from suppliers, or in this case could be from you, right? The trucking company, they're wanting 30-day terms, because really what it is just buying time for them, right? Because you're in a situation where you want to get paid right away, but they're in a situation where they may have to wait 30 to 90 days before they get paid from the city for the job they're doing that month, okay? It's the same scenario if they're doing private work. Let's just say, again, they're building a shopping center or whatever the case may be, right? They could be building any kind of big box store, whatever the case may be. Well, whoever owns that, the developer, right? They're gonna probably do the same thing. They're not gonna pay them right away. They're gonna pay that contractor anywhere between 30 to 90 days. So what this allows is for the contractor to have more time for the materials and all the other things that they got going on the job site before they have to pay it out of their own pocket. Now, for us, right, just being a trucking company, I totally understand you may not have that money up front. And believe me, I've been in that situation many times, and we're gonna get to that, right? So that's the reason why they're asking you if they can pay you in 30 days. Because essentially what it is they wanna buy time, okay, and pay you, within 30 days. So maybe they only have to wait 30 days or 60 days before they get paid for the material. So that's kind of how it all works, right? It's another ways to look at it. It's a domino effect. City, the contractor, and then you. So the city's gonna pay the contractor will then pay you, and that's why they're asking you if you can wait 30 days. Surprisingly enough, there's contractors that actually sometimes ask for 60 and 90 days, okay? So imagine that. Now, let's get back to the credit card portion, okay? Now, the reason why I ask you to tell them, hey, can you pay with a credit card? Again, majority of these businesses or contractors, they're gonna have credit cards, right? So if they go out tomorrow and let's just say they gotta buy furniture or something for their office, what are they gonna use? They're gonna use a credit card, they're not gonna use a check. So just tell them, hey, we do take credit card payments and I can take a credit card over the phone. Now in this case, right, you may be only a one-man operation or a two or three-man operation, that's fine. You can do something simple like Stripe or Square and you can go ahead and take the payment right there and then, right? So heck, you could even pull over if you're in your dump truck, stop and take the payment with your phone, right? So technology is great now because you can take that payment over the phone almost immediately, right? So ask them and you'd be surprised at how sometimes that's an option. Now, again, beware that you make sure that you have all this set up before you get there with the customer. Make sure you know what Square and Stripe is gonna charge you because these added fees may be something that you may have to pass on to that customer. Now, with that being said, guys, number 2, you can also ask the supplier for credit. Now, Jay, what do you mean by ask the supplier for credit? What I mean is the following, guys. All right, so in our situation, I'll give you a real life example here. A lot of the times we get contractors that ask us for, road base or ask us for asphalt millings, ask us for sand. Here we got a material called select fill, which is a blend of clay and sand, right, that they use for the house pads. So with us, we have credit accounts with those suppliers, meaning we don't have to go out that same day and write them a check or pay them with a credit card. We've built a relationship or we've already established a credit with them and you could be doing the same thing. Now, of course, if you're new to the business, you may say, Jay, well, I'm just now getting started. And that's totally fine. But here's news for you. Eventually, as you get to grow and you become a bigger business, you need these credits, okay? You need to have credit with all these suppliers because down the road, you may be only selling a few loads here and there now, but down the road, you may be selling, 100 tons, 200 tons, 1,000 tons, or 1,000 yards of material. So you want to make sure you start to establish these credit lines with these suppliers. Now, one thing that you can do and the way you can go about that, okay, is just being very upfront with the suppliers and just, getting off your truck, going up there, asking to speak with whoever the manager may be. Now, if they don't have an office where you can get off and talk to them, give them a call on the phone, okay? And believe me, they are gonna ask you for references. That's one thing. And they may even do a background or a credit check. Now, you gotta be open to this. This is just part of business, all right? Just like if you were gonna go buy something somewhere else. So it's the same thing. And make sure you fill that out, you send it to them. And even if they give you like a small credit line, that's okay because you're opening credit and then eventually you start to build credit. So later on, you can make bigger purchases. Now, here's the key, guys. Just like they're gonna do that with you, you're gonna turn around and you're gonna do the same thing with the contractor. What do I mean by that? So if let's just say, they say, hey, ABC Trucking, we're gonna go ahead and give you credit for a few $1,000s to buy material from us. Great. So now you can do the same thing with the contractor. That contractor that asked for 30 days, you can say, okay, you know what? Look, man, I can't give you 30 days, but I can give you maybe 15 days. And this is something you got to also negotiate. I can give you 20 days or I can give you 25 days, right? And if your supplier gives you 30 days, so now you have that leverage, okay? You can get the material and then you can resell the material. Now, keep in mind, the great thing about that is also that it's non-taxable because you're reselling the material, right? So, and I'm talking about the material itself, not the transportation services. So with that being said, you do the same thing with the contractor. What you're gonna do is you're gonna go back to the contractor and you're gonna tell them, I need you to fill out also a credit app, okay? Now, I want you to keep in mind, there are several steps to this, okay? So I got you, but you need to stay to the end of the video. I'm gonna show you how to do that. That's gonna be the bonus, so just stick to the end of the video, okay? So with that being said, you turn around and you do the same thing. You tell the contractor, I need you to fill out a credit app. I'm also gonna need what's called a PO or a purchase order, and I'm gonna need a job information form. And again, I'm gonna tell you what that is at the end of the video. So if you get to that point, and then you send them all the information, and they send it back to you, and everything checks out, now you already know that you can go ahead, you can get the material, you can deliver the material. Of course, you're selling the material and also you're getting paid for the transportation services. And that's how you do number 2. Again, getting credit with the suppliers, and in return, you're giving credit to the contractor. All right, guys, so that leads me to number 3. For some of you are saying, Jay, what about if I don't get any credit? What about if the suppliers turn me down, they don't know who I am, or I don't have credit, I just bought my dump truck, and obviously I don't want to use my own money, I don't want to use my own credit cards. What do I do now, Jay? Is there any other options? There is another option, guys, and I actually had to start this way. So don't feel bad if you have to do it this way, because guess what? You got to start somewhere, right? And I got started this way, and that's number 3. Does a contractor have an account with other suppliers? Now, let me explain to you. What do I mean by that? So this contractor that's asking you for you to deliver the material and pay you in 30 days, ask him up front, hey, Mr. ABC Construction, do you by any chance have an account with any other suppliers? Meaning the gravel suppliers. Let's just say he's asking you for gravel. I'm not sure because I didn't get that information, but let's just say he's asking for you to deliver gravel. Do you have an account with any gravel suppliers? More than likely, he's going to tell you he does. Yes, right? Especially if he's a reputable contractor and he's been in business for quite some time, or at least for a considerable amount of time, then he's going to probably have an account with 1 or 2 suppliers and maybe even more. So where am I going with this? When he tells you yes, okay, guys, this is your other option. You say, Mr. Contractor, you know, if you buy the material, I can transport the material for you. Now, I know that's probably not your best option, but here's where I'm going with this. This at least allows you to get a new customer. At least it allows you to start a relationship with a new customer, okay? And what do I mean by that? When you do start that relationship, further down the road, you get to know this contractor, okay? And then you know if this contractor is a serious contractor, they're good on paying terms, guess what? This also allows you and gives you time for you to build and establish a relationship with that supplier or with other suppliers to get back to right here, which is number 2. So when I got started, guys, let me give you an example. I didn't have, credit at the beginning. I was new, I was a much younger man, okay? I didn't have a credit card to say, okay, here's $2,000, $3,000 or $5,000 or let alone $10,000 worth of material to buy just to go and deliver to a customer, even though I wanted to because I was really wanting to build my business. At the time, I couldn't do that. So what I do is I just told the contractor, hey, you know what? If you pay for the material, I'll be more than happy to go and pick it up for you and deliver it for you. And they would say, okay, yeah, I can do that. Well, let me go ahead and give them a call. Now, how can you go an extra mile for the contractor? You can kind of do the preliminary work. You can already make some of these phone calls, right? You already know what the contractor wants. You already know how much material they want. You can make some of these phone calls to some of these suppliers, find out what the material costs, find out what kind of material they want. And then you can just call the contractor and be like, hey, you know what? I called these 3 different suppliers and the second one was the cheapest. And that's going to be your best option. I promise you, if they're a good contractor, they're going to really appreciate you going the extra mile and doing that for them. Okay. And that's another way how you also start and establish a relationship with them. Okay. So in my situation, that's what I was doing at the beginning. I would get a call from ABC Construction. Hey, Jay, I need 100 tons of gravel. Well, I didn't want to pay for the 100 tons of gravel, right? Because I was just starting off and maybe I didn't have the capital to do it. But I would say, hey, you know what, ABC Construction? So-and-so gravel supplier has some material. They're the cheapest in town. You want to give them a call and buy the material and I'll go and pick it up for you tomorrow, right? And that's how I started these relationships with a lot of these contractors. Eventually, this will give you time so that you can build relationships not only with the contractors, but also the suppliers, because guess what? Now they get to know you as well. When you go in there and you're picking up 1 load, 2 loads, 5 or 10 or 20 and 30 loads down the road, the supplier is gonna know who you are. So when you call them 5 months, 6 months, or a year down the road, wanting credit, there's a great possibility that they're gonna go ahead and give you credit because they already know who you are, what you're about, and they know that you're all about business. But most importantly, guys, now that supplier is gonna probably be open to maybe even giving you a discount further down the road. Why? Because you just brought him a new customer, okay? Not only do they get to know you, but now they say, hey, you know what, Jay? I appreciate you coming in here, bringing us a new customer. Man, you know what? Not only will I give you credit, but maybe they may even give you, a few cents off, $1 off, anything is going to help, right? And add to the bottom line, which is what? your business and created more income for you and your truck. All right, guys, so you stay to the end of the video. This is probably the most important part. This is the bonus. So pay attention because I'm gonna break it all down to you, all right, guys? So if you're right here, number 2, getting credit with the supplier, and now you're in return giving credit to the contractor. I mentioned earlier, right, a credit app, okay? What does a credit app mean? It means the following. Credit app means asking for all the legal information for that company or that contractor, meaning their legal address, where are they physically located, meaning the full name of the business, okay? Meaning references, meaning bank references, okay? So this is a form, and guys, this is simple to find. You can actually do this research on your own. You can probably Google it. Credit form, credit app, credit template, okay? And it's very basic. Again, you're just asking for all of the information from the general contractor, right? Or the contractor, where they're located, their corporate name, their credit references, meaning who else have they done business with and currently doing businesses with. And you're probably gonna have to call those guys, all right? And be like, hey, ABC Construction, have you done business with them in the past? Yes, okay, are they good? Do they pay on time? Et cetera, right? That's what's called a credit app. Basically, you just checking the references and making sure that you know they're a legitimate company established in your town or your city, and that you know that they will pay their bill, okay? The next thing I talked about was a PO. Guys, this is extremely important. Jay, what's a PO? A purchase order. This basically is a legal binding agreement between you and the contractor. Purchase order will have the details explaining what kind of material they're gonna buy from you, an estimated quantity, okay? And most importantly, how much are they gonna pay for that material? Meaning, let's just say you're gonna sell them 100 yards of gravel. Well, how much are they paying for either the 100 yards or how much are they paying per yard? So if you don't know if they may be needing 100 to 200 yards, well, you can say, hey, a yard is X amount of dollars. Let's just say it's $10 a yard, right? If they buy 100 yards, now you just know simply you're gonna multiply 100 yards at $10 a yard, right? Or if they only end up buying 50, it's still 50 yards at $10 a yard. So you definitely wanna put that in the PO. How much are they buying the material for, okay? And you wanna be specific about that. And then most importantly, after that, the net terms, right? Did you agree on 15 days? Did you agree on 20 days or 25 days? Now remember, the key is you wanna make sure your supplier gives you at least 30 days, right? That gives you an extra cushion for you to get paid, and then in return, you pay the supplier back, right? And this is how business works. The next thing I talked about, guys, a job information form. Jay, what's a job information form? Job information form is the following. Job information form will have who owns the property you guys are doing the work for. Do you remember this right here? We said this example, it was a public job, so the city owned it. And this example here was a private job, right? So that shopping center they're gonna be built may be owned by a developer. Let's just call it XYZ developer. So now what you need to do in the job information form is you need to have the contractor fill that out and put on there who owns that shopping center. And you need all their information. Jay, why do I need all that? Well, you know why? Because if the contractor 30 days in hasn't paid you, you're gonna call this guy right here, and guess what? You're gonna let him know, hey, I delivered 100 yards of gravel or 100 tons of gravel to your job site, but Mr. Contractor hasn't paid me, and we have an agreement here, a PO, that in 30 days he would pay me. So now you put him on notice, and XYZ developer is gonna say, oh really? Yeah, let me send you an email copy of this purchase order. So now he's obligated to pay you, right? So that is the reason why you want a job information form, because in that job information form, you're gonna have all the information of who owns the property. If it's private, it may be that developer. If it's public and it belongs to the city, then more than likely, I'm telling you now, you'll be in good shape because you're gonna get paid, right? Believe me, the contractor does not wanna have a bad rep with the city or the county if it's a public entity. And last but not least, guys, on the job information form, you wanna make sure that they're bonded. So guys, if they're a bonded company, what that basically means is they have a bond that basically assures that they're gonna pay the contractors or the suppliers that they hire, okay? So that bonded company, you want to make sure they get their information as well, because if they don't pay you, that's another person that you can call as well. You can call their bonding company and say, hey, Mr. Contractor here hasn't paid me, and the bonding company will reach out to them to make sure that they pay their bill. I hope that you found this video valuable. So once again, shout out to Magnum Trucking being the inspiration to this video. Guys, if you want me to create a video answering your questions like this one here, make sure that you send me a DM. The best and fastest way for you to reach me right now is a DM. We're extremely busy, guys. I know you've been sending the emails. I really do appreciate you. We're gonna get to everybody, but just send me a DM with your question, and you never know, the next video may be answering your question. With that being said, guys, you already know what we do here. We keep the wheels rolling, the cash flowing, and we'll see you on the next one.